What is up, YouTube? Today we're gonna drive a Ford Fiesta ST. Oh, it's a hot one today. Get all situated in here. My buddy's actually got one of these. I could have, I guess, hit him up to drive it and see if I liked it. It wasn't really on my radar though. The steering is very alive. It pulls very uniquely. Is this the 3-cylinder, do you know? I think the Fiestas have some of them at least have a little 3-cylinder turbo.
You said I4?
Is it a 4-cylinder?
I think it's 4.
I think they went to 3 maybe in the later ones then.
Oh, 1.6, but it's still 4.
It is a 4. Okay. Dude, I wish these were all-wheel drive. This is really not something I was looking for at all. And I was kind of cruising around. I was real bummed I couldn't drive that Corvette. And I should turn this on. Some of this might be good conversation. Yeah, do you care? Yeah, I don't know. It pulls pretty good. I mean, I think they have a fair amount of tuning potential. So probably just flash tune, and then like usually, since it's turbo, you can usually do things like a downpipe, which is like ditch the cat, intake, maybe exhaust, and you can usually pull like 50 to 100-ish out on just that. I don't know about with such a small displacement engine, but like my 135, for example, I flash tune, catless downpipe, and a charge pipe, which is like the cold side of the turbo, and it makes like 85 extra horsepower.
Oh, okay.
And like 70 pound-feet of torque. And it's like, I don't know, I think I have like $400 or $500 into it, into the parts for that. I mean, I got a lot more into it, mods wise, but just the performance parts, and it makes a lot of power. But those cars have a lot of power gain potential built into them. This feels like a lot more, I don't know, it reminds me of a Mini. Have you ever driven a Mini?
I have.
They're real sensitive steering, planted chassis. It feels good. Yeah, I went and drove this gutted. I was gonna make a video on it, but I went and drove this. It was a 06 or something. It wasn't the turbo one, so it was like a base. It wasn't fast at all, but it had like full suspension, R compound tires. It had like everything you would want for like a straight up track car. I couldn't get this thing to slide. It was that gripped. I was so impressed by it. If it wasn't already dark out, I would have for sure made a video on it. The other thing is that was just a buddy's car. The other thing is I really want something that's rear-wheel drive. But like, dude, the Mini felt really good.
I really had fun in the Mini. I really did.
Right? All right, don't let me pat. All right, ready?
Coming up right
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
Not this one.
Not this one. The next. Oh yeah, I see this. Is this you guys too?
Uh-huh.
Can we check out that CRZ?
Absolutely.
All right. Pardon the road noise. We're right on the main road here, but we're at Automotive Connection over here in Fairfield. I was originally planning on going to Preferred Used Cars here on Route 4 in Fairfield to try out this C6 Corvette they have. I really want to drive a C6 before I pull the trigger on that S2000. Unfortunately, they closed early, so like I was just bummed driving around, and I saw this little thing, so I felt like, I don't know, let's go try it out, right? And dude, I gotta be honest, it's not the fastest thing in the world, but it seems really fun to drive. It's a little understeery, but like, what do you expect, right? The steering's so lively, and the front end's very reactive. There's no dead space in the steering, and when you turn the wheel, it is just very lively. It feels like an old school hydraulic steering rack, and you just don't really feel cars like that anymore. They got a couple cool cars here. So if you can see over there, there's this teal CRV. It's unfortunately automatic, or I would for sure hit them up to drive it and see what I thought, because the CRZ's I've always had a soft spot for that car. I loved the CRXs when I was growing up, and a CRZ would be a solid go. But yeah, so like, let's take a look at this Fiesta. So, I don't know, I mean, it's probably pretty standard, and this is probably nothing new, but it's pretty nice interior. I mean, it's sporty, they're big. It's not something I would have honestly even considered, but after driving it, I kind of freaking like the thing. But I felt the same way about the Mini. Well, I didn't really feel the same way about the Mini. I knew I liked the way Minis drive because my brother's fiance has one, and I loved it. But I went and drove this Mini the other day, and I was gonna make a video on it, but it was getting dark, and it wasn't right. The Mini I drove felt phenomenal, and I gotta be honest, this has like a kind of Mini feel to the chassis. It really is gripped up. It's just really lively. Like, that's all I can say. I mean, it just feels really good to drive. So we're back in the 135, and I want to give final impressions of that Fiesta ST. I gotta be honest, I mean, I was really impressed with the car. It wasn't that fast, but I wouldn't really expect it to be that fast. But what it did have going for it was it drove really good. I mean, the handling, so it was understeery if you got on and out of a corner, but that could probably be fixed with a heavy rear sway bar or some adjustable dampers, and just crank the back to a really, really firm dampening such that it's stiffer in the front. The thing was, though, and I kind of already explained this, is the front end was extremely lively. I mean, it was very responsive. It was definitely more responsive than my 135. And my 135 has a real hydraulic power steering rack, so I'm not sure if that does or does not have hydraulic power steering, but what I can tell you is that there was no dead space, and the slightest motion of the steering wheel gave you a strong response. So it wasn't something that I was considering. I'm not really looking at front wheel drive cars, but as a fallback, it was cool. I mean, I gotta be honest, like, I would totally drive one. The interior is nice. It was a cool car. But anyway, guys, that's my impressions of the Fiesta ST. If anyone's in the market for one, there's a relatively low mile one at the Automotive Connection in Fairfield, Ohio. It's a nice car, man. So guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.